What happened last time? Oh yeah. People think we murdered someone. But there is a lady who was there and everyone's trying to cover up for her. Until now. So maybe she will be here in a little bit. November 22nd. Defendants Antechamber 5. Excellent work, Rinosuke. That was superb. Ugh, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. Palms sweaty, mom spaghetti. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Ew. Well then, this game would be very short. If he sticks to that. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett. A student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Well, at least one of us. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then on the floor next to it, yeah, I noticed there was a gun. Yeah. Bang. Yeah, we saw this. We saw this. I didn't have time to think about where the sound the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Professor Mikotova. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. Oh god, they're looking at me. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor. Did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA, and it was I who invited him. Oop. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I have no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck! Thank you! Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it. Partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what's hit them. I'm gonna use my sword. I will hack at them for you. He looks so cool. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. But this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Food sounds good. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ouchie, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Ugh, sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's something to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders?
Do they mean flounder? Not founders. Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Whoop!
Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I don't think that's how you spell maneuvering. But I'm not sure. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder, too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Ugh, somebody please. Print this out. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. Oop.
You little brats!
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes. Your Excellency!
Oh my god, I want her hat.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan and from such a distant land.
Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. I guess that's true. Is that true? No idea.
So, ahem. Could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Oh my god, they're all so, like, formal with her. Of course. My name is... My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I've been working undercover as a head waiter at La Carnival, but my true...
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
Oh my god, she got a mask on! Hmm.
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What?
I guess he's gonna translate? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in UMA University's medical faculty.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people.
Oh god. Eat this boot.
I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. Haha, you'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Your English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. I think she does. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Good lord, everyone! Everyone's simping for her. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? English text does not look like that. I guess it's a lot of squigglies. In cursive, maybe? She says, yes. She definitely said more than yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. Oh. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. That is not what you said, Hosonaga. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Oh my gosh, she got a duck butt too behind her dress. Order in court.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. But what cost? The cost of watching me get through this game. Hehe. Is he just gonna translate everything? I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, but I'm so sure she knows how to speak Japanese. She's just not employing it right now. Wait, what did it say? Shot him right before my eyes. Fierce argument. Okay. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. I mean, college age, I think.
Yes!
No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and look at this snow-white angel.
You can't see me, but I'm looking at the camera right now.
I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
The white man. Ugh. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out and you're goaded like that. There's a lesson you need to learn. Oh my god, it is Dahlia. Oh, but he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before, and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. Oh yeah, that's true. Hold on. People. 23. Emma's 23. Giselle is 24. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. Why would you do that? As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. There are so many places. There are so many places she could hide one. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to.
Unless and until the precise location where the witnesses have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. Ugh, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Maybe don't do that. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, she got a little smile on her face. I don't trust her. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. He looks more relaxed now, Ryunosuke. I don't know why she's wearing the same outfit, but it's good for us. Slightly late luncheon. Unable to eat, so I ordered for myself a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese.
No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway.
Oh my god, just take this boot. Just fucking deep-throat it.
English is the future. We must all speak English.
I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman, Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Okay. You took the professor's gun. Professor had a gun?
Yes!
Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side.
Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand.
Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes. There was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time.
Objection!
That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel.
Dirty?
Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy.
It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours.
What nonsense.
The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. Oh, the little slaps. It's so funny. Don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I'm gonna be myself for it. She's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you with your thick skin must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Alright, let me look at the record. If she ordered the meat, why is it on his side? Or am I thinking too hard? Only too well, I feel half dead already. The fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. First thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. That's what I've been doing. Expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination.
Yes!
After 2 p.m. in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late lunches are en vogue, isn't that right?
No.
Ugh.
A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it's apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, it all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic, what a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
She literally said no. She didn't say anything else. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next?
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hota Clinic, remember? Correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying event. exactly as it was left.
Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To travel to a distant land on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible flight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Rinosuke, about the witness's last statement? Let me look at the record. There's only one! There's only one glass! Where's the other glass? Sussy. Meaningful. The last statement of yours, Miss Fred, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing,
The significance of this statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense called for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well, sidestep, counsel.
Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? Significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Rinosuke. Professor and I said tears over a glass. Wait, there's only one glass. Okay, wait, no, this would be two. Two glasses for cheers. I'm going to present something.
Yes!
That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Slaps. Well, that is, it's odd. Very odd. God, you're so convincing.
Dear me, what's odd is that the defendant's inability to express itself.
Ugh. Ryonosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be two glasses on the table, not one. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only one glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae?
Minutiae?
What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minutiae, you say? Minutiae? Whatever. Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been two glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only one? Minutia. You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious, that's so sussy. Sorry. Alright, give me the glass. Let me see it.
There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Oh, please.
We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray?
That's absurd. And you know it.
Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief?
What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. The student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing.
So you're saying what he's saying is logical. That's what I'm hearing right now.
No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. Is that good enough for you? Fuck you. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. She took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items.
Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Judge, good lord. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. A true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order, order, order!
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner! Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Ahaha. Get it? Because she has a mask. You think so, Cosmo? Oh god. Don't die. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. I don't. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I'd completely forgotten about. Girl, why didn't you put this photographic print? This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. Is that what's inside? That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly, so there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ugh. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. They're both smiling and tilting their head. Sussy! Wah! Order, order. Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. I gotta look at it. I think you've had a long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Wait, I want to look at it! What is this? It looks like the thing on the... Yeah. So it means she hid the gun somewhere else, and also this looks like the steak thingy. The brand on there. Like on the plate. Here. I guess I can't do anything with it yet. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted to the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean, this is it?
I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat.
I don't think that's what people say.
You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma? What? Is there really Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems you will be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all the evidence... Oop! Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol at the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Turn your eyes.
Huh, my thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes, I'm desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. He's gonna bash my head in if I say the wrong thing. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. He will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded.
Right here.
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, it is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
God, everyone's incompetent. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. It does look like a tiny frog. With the little leggies. However, as Prosecutor Aochi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Council. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence? Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it. I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link. I know what it is. This is the moment of truth. Time to find some evidence. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. Evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial.
Yes!
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in the photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer, if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean.
Girl, I will... I will tell you. I will show you. It's literally, dude, trust me.
Yes!
The beefsteak.
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate. Ah!
Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn. It made it seem like he was eating the steak. Are exactly the same shape. Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. I'm trying to think. It just makes it seem like he was the one eating the steak.
But...
Oops. I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it, something isn't right here. I think it's just something for us to grab onto. As Detective said, anyone who burned themselves on the piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day, or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie? Yeah, I think he was already dead.
Well, yes, I suppose.
So I don't think... So the question is... So I don't think the gun is the murder weapon. It's something else. The gun was just there to direct attention. He's been dead for 20 years. Why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Rinosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... I'm starting to think that maybe... we've been led to a terrible trap. That makes so much sense. Didn't Phoenix Wright also get accused of murder? In one of his first cases or something? Not first cases, he was like a... I think Mia defended him or something. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already dead. Yeah, turnabout. Yes, okay. The one where he was wearing that fucking pink sweater. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. 3 seconds is a lot to put your skin on a burning. That's clearly impossible, apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. I did not play Apollo Justice, no. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. Yeah, so the cup, the glass would have the poison. Order, 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 please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right, that's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. Oop! I beg your pardon. As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered the burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down, or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. We are back to square one. Yeah, but now it seems like it has a reason for her to keep the glass. But you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But Your Excellency...
The justice system in our country may be in its infancy. But rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. I fucking knew it. You know, to speak Japanese the whole time.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. Is it, though? As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. She is just racist. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides a gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken, without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Good fucking lord. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that it's the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all. It's a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
Ugh. Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. Be able to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony. I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Slap my face. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Alright, let me read this, because... I had no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. And the waiter brought my steak. Professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. Heard the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides a gunshot. There's no way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace. Is this right? A man's life can been taken? Okay, just checking. I'll press her on this.
Yes!
Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh no, perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Taketsuchi Aochi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. I don't know, I assume he's the same age as Kazuma. Edgeworth doesn't have this flowing ribbon behind him though. Kazuma's like 23. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. Of course, this country's inferior investigator.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Hello? What is this thing that shows up? It doesn't even occur to your naive detective to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand.
Haha, a killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Aochi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Ms. Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. do you think, Rinosuke? I think it's going terribly! No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in our armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. You think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself. Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Okay, this is the last statement.
Yes!
Okay, we said this. In this country. Da 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 da. Yes, I want to suck your dick!
Wait.
Exactly. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. Alright, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. Oh shit. But by moving the marker left and right, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with... If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. This is new. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people in the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker and focus on the detective. Then pursue and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
Excuse me!
Excuse me! Yeah, what's the meaning of this? Oh god. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's a delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how that works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Fret? Let me wipe this blood off first. Well, yes, if you don't mind. I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. So you took something. What did you take? I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. You are messing with the crime scene thief. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. Good lord. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Can I looky at it? Miss Brett? Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. No. Can I look at it? The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You fucking... You could just say that you don't know. This carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. Looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. Do not drink evidence. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. I don't know if there's anything else I can find here. Probably not. So how do I present this? Let me look. No. No, it's just the water and then the stuff here. Where's the cork? Whatever. Yeah. Well, it did not pass through the body. If it didn't pass through the body, the blood wouldn't come out, right? I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass here. What about my sick professor and I raised the glasses in a toast? As I heard. I'm gonna press around this.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water. Is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered a drink. Correct, waiter.
Exactly as you say, sir. Oh, I guess maybe... stabs? Oh, I am thinking of stabs. It's just... Although... Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that. Mew.
Ah, I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. Can I present the bottle? Or is that too... Am I thinking too far in the future?
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water. Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Oh, thanks for the follow. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from his bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Hosonaga is like, oh shit! Can we press him on that? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order. And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person. I think they meant to put only one person. There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous, to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile, have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Having even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty.
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
Grrr.
Ahem, if I may.
I will silence you forever for this disgrace. Oh.
It is you who should be silent.
Of course. Dear lady!
Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, You still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Why didn't you say anything? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What'd you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. It's gonna be in the fucking glass, and it's not in the bottle. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No! I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I'm so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I was asked to counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. No, don't leave! Fuck you! Get back here. Please, wait! Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotova, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotova? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Furoshiki cloth. Open it! Open it! To be continued! Fuck. Yes. Adventure. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ah, a judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ha, you're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
So true. 5 minutes, I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency...
I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something. Written in English. It's Giselle Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curair and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curair? What's that? I've never heard that word before.
Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could in a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. Cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Gisele's report. An unknown poison. Curair is a poison. Goodbye then, and good luck. I think she wants to claim the research. You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid... It's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline... Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence? Take a look at this.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yuma University, doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as Curair, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense. Curair, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curair before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Curair. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order, order, order. Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Curair has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
Lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Red? Explorers, yeah.
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. Oop! And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. It's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. No whispers? And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison.
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense.
Ahem, if I may.
All these facts, you think you're so clever.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady!
Yeah, that sounds like agony. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Red, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Fred? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? She's gonna drink from it. Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Island boys? Jesus. Sorry? To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? Ha 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 ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Bruh. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Red. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah yes, dear lady, we are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. Yeah, I know what's happening. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? There can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke, we have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryunosuke? Is it obvious? If there was poison, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivete? Ugh, really astounds me. I don't know how to say it. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining. Until it's as dark as your uniform and the ways of the world. Good lord! Hey, I know where I'm going with this. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry counsel. Ah, shit! Okay, hold on. Let me... I guess I'll present it. Yeah. Can I show this? Ugh. How do I present it? But it doesn't contain poison. Hello? Wait. How do I present that we should talk about the glass? Or should I just go with it? The culprit did put curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. Okay, well, yeah. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Fool, are you blind?
There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw
Miss Bread drinking the water from it? That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. and I believe that complication can be explained. God, this is... it's one of those things. Fuck you!
How exactly?
I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. Sure, the answers and the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. Yeah. I think I'll end it here, though, because I need to use a bathroom so bad right now. And it's almost time to end anyways. Haha, I'll end it at a... what's it called? A cliffhanger! Hee 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 hoo. Yes, I can! Hold on. I just did! Oops. We'll play more this tomorrow. we'll play this tomorrow. Come on. I'm just a little birthday boy.